Welcome to Make It Easy with Easy Query. I'm Rebecca Rosecrans, and I'll be your guide through Easy Query. We are going to hit three main areas: Easy Student, Tools, and Reports. And I just have my camera for the moment to say hello, and I'm going to go to mute my camera so we can focus primarily on our screen. So I'll stop share just for a moment and bring that back so the slideshow should fill. I do want to speak about just a few security settings. You may or may not be the person who has access to the staff record, but it is important to know that security needs to be allowed for some job functions to actually have access to Easy Query. And we get a lot of requests at the beginning of the school year, and it's specifically related to somebody who was given the job function of counselor. And if it's deselected, meaning there's an Easy Query box, they have to have kids who are assigned to them. And typically, somebody with that job function does not have students. So it's important that the Easy Query box is checked. What will happen? They will go to this, they will get to the Easy Query report that they want to run, and the results will be 0 students found. So as soon as we see that, we realize that's a security setting, but it's one that you can fix in the district. Also, there are other job functions. They already have that access. So it's really not necessary. If you notice, it says access to all, whether it's checked or not checked. So it's not necessary for everybody. Just want to let you know. So if you have questions and that is a job that you perform, I'll put the security guide in our chat real fast. So anybody who wants to follow up with that, they have the resource. Well, next up, we are going to get started. I'm going to sign in to Frontline and get into my screens for student information. Now, I'm going to start here at this Easy Query menu. And the three areas I pointed out was the Easy Students, the reports, and the tools. We're going to go to Easy Students first. We're just going to go through this menu quickly one by one. And I'm going to start with Contact. Think of this as an easy way for you to get, say, an address label. I'm going to search for a student. And you could be following along yourself if you like to multitask and go through these. So when a student pops up, you are able to print address labels and you have other choices in there as well. But very simple. And what you would be able to do then is copy this, paste it into maybe another application that you're quickly making a label for. So if you're missing a student, that would be one way to grab their address very fast. In the Easy Query course history, if I'm searching for students, I'm getting a quick snapshot that'll show you their type. So I have my student here still, and I see this course history grades grid. So we're looking at what they have had, and GP is standing for grading period, or fin or final grade, depending on what is listed. And then I can filter by that. If I just want um, grades final, and let's see, did I keep my kid in context? And then we have a main grid. And you can default to this. This is not showing us our grades on that final one, but this is. So that's just a quick course history in case you were looking them up and they were working on scheduling and they're like, do I need to take another science? Well, I don't know. Let's see what you have in your history. So that'd be a good way to use that. Course requests. This is a way for you to see what course they currently have requested. Now, yours might be blank. This is a time of year where course requests are coming in, but if you're watching a recording of this and you didn't see anything, and it's because there just wouldn't be any sitting there. So we see the course, we see the credit they would receive for the course, we see the section, and we see the amount. Oh, sorry, the credit amount. I already went through that. Now, if you notice here, some scheduling has been happening, and this student has two courses. So you can see whether or not those requests have been assigned, because here Corey has two blank ones that have not been assigned yet. Under Easy Query, Easy Students demographic, this is just a basic demographic information, and it's their admission data. So if you want to see possibly, their admission date or their EMIS situation, their grade, just some demographics real fast. Similar to whenever you click on their name and you get the student profile on that screen. But slight difference here now at the bottom here. We're seeing that admission. It would show you if they changed a building, if they left the district and came back. So this is a demo database. We have a lot of dates. Maybe our kids have been in our buildings a little longer than regular kids. So EMIS demographic. Now, going down with this one, you're going to have view only access. And that's what you really want to think about. Why would I come to Easy Query? What's the point? Well, the point is maybe you don't have access to edit student profiles or go through every tab, but with Easy Query access, you do get to see the profile and go through the tabs, but without the edit ability. Or if you really say, hey, I don't want all the clutter, all those extra drop downs, I want to see just what is set, then I can go ahead and use your EMIS demographic and go through each tab that is in a student's profile. So I'm going to pick EMIS student on this one, and we can see all the data except EMIS student, really. So we're not seeing a lot here. This is what you won't be able to get from this view only. Easy query, we're going back to the main menu for discipline. If your student has had discipline incidents and you don't have access to SIS student and discipline to enter incidents, but you want to view, then you could look this way. So here our fictitious student has had a few run-ins. And so you can see what the infraction was. If that infraction has, if it was a policy that they broke, or if there's a comment related to that policy. You can also see who the referral person was, the location, such as place specifically, and then general and specifically. Then we see a description of what that person entering the referral or entering the incident has written up. Also, you see the action that occurred, when it happened, and how long, and whether they had served it. So all the details that a discipline incident would have, it's just you can't edit anything on it. Easy query, enrollment. Here I'm looking at my student. I'm going to show you someone else. Here we have Tim. And again, we're going to see things about their building. So did they have an admission? When did they first start our district? When did they start a building? So whether they, that could be the same date, but when they move up to the next building, when did that occur? And here we have a opportunity to say, all right, we're looking at their EMIS enrollment, and we get to see the percentage of time. So we're actually seeing that Tim has 50% of his time at the JVS. So that could be helpful to any of you looking for that information. Easy query, medical. In our medical list, going to need a different student here for you who has some. You're going to see all of the medication that needs to be taken at school. Maybe there's a health screening that had occurred at school. Yeah, there are medical alerts. So I see that this student can and did receive medication on April 1st and what it was, by who, were the screenings, what occurred, and the results of those. Their immunization records as well are listing in here. So more screenings and their immunizations. Maybe this would be where you would see that there's been a waiver. But I do want to let you know that private medical notes are not going to be displayed here. So that is the medical. Before I continue, are there any questions on the first student, easy student searches? And if something comes to mind, feel free to unmute, jump in, type it in the chat, and then I'll be able to catch up with you when I have another break. Next up for our Easy Query, Easy Students membership service. Now, I'm going to pick, we have a way to sort this. Right now, this is just the membership grid. We can also do a grid by membership and then the grid with the school year and the description. So let's use our student here, Tim. So I'm going to choose that third one. And you can choose the button here that says set as default if you would like. So these are your student memberships. Tim is in track and field for this school year. He's also in the membership for this alt competency, CCP, and etc. We're moving down the list for past dates. And I chose this one because it did include the school year. I had a lot here with this sample student that didn't have years associated. So I wanted the years at the top. Back to Easy Query, schedule. In the Easy Students, schedule. I'm going to use Corey this time. Give you guys a variety of students to look at. So this looks like the course request screen, but it includes the period. So you can see that inside right here in meeting time. So that's a benefit to you. And there is a filter here at the top. Whenever you click on that, you can check or uncheck any of these boxes as needed. Now you can view your dropped and removed courses. So again, you're thinking, wouldn't I just do this on the student profile? Because you can if you have that level of access. This would be perhaps that counselor who can't edit student profiles and should come here to see the student schedule and is curious, did they have dropped? Did they have removed courses? And then if you've made a change, you should check it. And now we do see that Corey did have a class, American government, but it was dropped. Corey really didn't take it after all. Again, we have a second semester study hall that was also taken off of Corey's list. So that filter is easy to click to reveal, and additional little boxes throughout the filter can be selected as well. Easy Query, and I have Easy Student, the shared student data. Now this one is hard for me to show you here. And so what I'm going to do is pull up our manual. And I apologize, I didn't go to the manual as I had notes to direct you. I will do that at the end to show you where to find this, but there is a student information easy query guide. It is 74 pages. And it wasn't brought up to you prior to attending class because you aren't going to be sure if you really want to print the whole thing. And if you go through this and say, oh, I only need to reprint sections, I'm only going to use easy query for portions, then we would prefer you select the pieces once you know about everything in easy query. So back to our shared student data. What this is related to is your district trusts. So it starts technically, the page number is 23, but it's 27 in the PDF. And if there is a district trust between your building and the JVS, then we're going to be able to use this feature. And I just don't have a sample student in our demo database. So what can you do? In the Choose Data to Review, there'll be a drop-down list, and you can select one of the following types of data. So do we want to look at their absences? Do we want to look at their assessments? And here's the screenshot that would accompany that. So this is the trusted district and our student, and we want to view their daily absences. So your school and the JVS are going to display in the context that's based on the data you selected to compare. And then we have the ability to pick address and primary contact, so you can compare those side by side, make sure things are matching. It says here if you select daily absences, the attendance hour summary grid will display. So here we're looking at that in the screenshot below. And we have absences to and from dates, so you can select a range and they'll be listed. There's more. Quite a bit you could do if you have that district trust set up. Then the shared student data that's just general or additional. So here we're seeing their status, gender, birth date code, birth date city, etc. You know, their grades, pretty much their profile, general information. Now, if you select EMIS FS to compare, we see here to view the comparative data for a different date on which the student's FS record changed, you'll need to pick in the effective date drop-down list a different date. So here we see different date and comparisons here that here their admission reason. Of course, high school was one, but it's different at the JVS. They transferred from. And sorry for the scrolling. If you select the FD, now we're looking at FD record changed. And again, you can pick a different date, pretty much the same. I think we're going to get this for each of the EMIS. So I'm going to go through them because what I'd like to get you to, this was the graduate one. And we're seeing, you know, at the high school, they don't have it documented that they've met this. Same for the JVS, but you might see differences between these. And what I'm, I interrupted myself. What I'm trying to get you down to is where you can add district trusts if those aren't set. So this PDF includes those instructions. So they're explaining a similar filter and display that we saw in one of the easy student lists earlier, the check boxes, and we're getting through to the assessments. A lot to see between you and if you're a homeschool and the JVS, and course history as well. Now, SPED events, there is so much. Finally, I'm here. Add district trusts. So these would be the instructions you would, if you have this access and it's not set for you, you would go to the management district admin district trust. So that's how you and the other building can connect to one another to have all that access that I just reviewed. So I am not going through this setup. That's something you can do on your own, but you can see that it begins on page 37, 38, which are true page numbers 32 and 34. So that is a little sneak peek of how you would set up shared student data and all the shared student data that you would see. I'm going to return back to our Easy Query menu. We have Easy Students, Student Fees. I have Corey up already, so that's just the student I wanted. And what you're able to see then, fee options such as fees from past school years. So that would show me more here. And you could even include what's coming up for future school years. On the left of this is telling you the total fees and each category, whether they've paid it, whether they were waived, what's their overall balance. I'm going to take off the past school years, so I'm getting more of something realistic for this school year. And I, at a glance, can see that they have paid, how much they had owed. Oh, and it looks like this penny is still going to be dangling out there. They have not paid for their 1 cent document from American government. Student, easy students, and student marks. Here we are. We're going to still stick with Corey, I believe, and you can move your filters. Let me display the filters here. And there's a bank on the left. What are you wanting to see? Filters on the left will show me what I want. If it's just first semester, you can double click or you can select an arrow. You can select an arrow back or double click and they'll return back. Here we have all year. So I don't think with this student I'm going to have anything if it's first. Yeah, all right. I have 2 classes that were just first semester. I think my second semester will be blank because all the rest of the class, I lied. I have 1 class that's only a second semester course, and then these are all year. So we're looking at all year courses. If you wanted to split that view up, or if this was blank, then it should show everything, the student. And then you see the grade out. So if you really don't want to filter, these grade boxes are cluing you in that, all right, this was a second semester course. These 2 are first semester courses. And that is your student marks. We are done with the easy students area. Are there any questions for any of these searches? Or if you just want to put in the chat, I'm curious to see if any of these you will find helpful to come here rather than going to, say, the profile. If any of them piqued your interest and you're like, you know what, I think I could come here, I would like it. The bad part is it's hard to like retrain our brains. So if we have full access to SIS, and we can go to the profile, then it's like, yikes, that is hard to just change. So in our chat, I got a request to click the EMIS demographic again. And I had left that on EMIS student, so it remembered where I was. But I can click this FS standing, and I'm seeing what would be on the FS standing tab. But if you notice, there's no pencil icons, there's no trash can icons. I cannot make any changes here. So I'm getting to see all the same information. It's just not editable. And I'm not seeing all the extra boxes that might not have anything set for them. So FS standing, FS attendance. So we're seeing their start date. And let's go to FD for you guys. Again, we're looking for this kiddo. I'm on Corey, I believe, still. This has no, I could see their free and reduced lunch. I could see if they have a 504, any disability or economic disadvantagements, etc. So let's go to your FN, simple, and I'm moving down to FN graduate. So the graduation date we're expecting for Corey is coming up very soon. We can see then their diploma type. Corey's going to be getting a STEM honors diploma. And then this last one, that EMIS student, was the only one that I said here. And make sure I say the right thing, because I have a note on that one. I believe that was the one where you aren't going to really have the information here. All this is blanked out that might be in the student's profile if you have that access. So I hope that fulfilled the request. You were asking to see that again, so we just ran through.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
Diane. It
yeah,
did. I don't know how much I would use it as an EMS coordinator because I use the live screens. I
sure.
just don't have that option under Easy Query. I thought that was kind of odd. I thought you had one extra than I did. I have the demographic, but I don't have an EMIS demographic drop down.
I would suspect that that's part of the security because you have a higher level SIS access. You should have everything. I'm going to write that down.
Should
But
combine.
sometimes it's that not having the sorry, having the easy query box checked makes these weird things happen like this, like I commented in the start. Okay, I'm going
Okay.
to follow up with you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So no EMIS demographic. And anybody else who has something like that occur, you don't have the same menus. It is related to your security, but that was an odd one. So definitely speak up. Thanks for doing that. Next up are the tools. So what tools do we have in here? We have 6 total. I want to go through all of them with you real fast. And I'll start with the absence list. So I'm going to pick yesterday. We had some absences, and you can pick your current day if you're following along. And what you can do is choose what you're after. Moving items, as you know, from the left to the right bank is filtering and limiting. If you leave everything in the left, then all of these choices will be included in your actual search. If I'm looking farther down here, I could then limit this by the teacher, by the homeroom. If you have a large building and you have multiple counselors, maybe you're searching for absences because the counselors were working and doing something specific and they needed the whole student body, but they wanted to see who missed that special assembly, that kind of thing. So I'm going to look down below. We have our columns to display. So what do you want included? In here, I'm going to have my grade level, my student name, their particular calendar, and I'm going to say that's enough for me. I'm just looking at absences real quick. We also have any notes that might have been typed in. I'm doing this for a particular date. I really don't need to also include that in my columns. Maybe there was a time in and a time out because they were only absent for partial part of the day. Any comments? And we have AM, PM, and reason. So again, just select what you want. But down in the bottom, now I get to choose download or email. And I honestly don't see anybody choosing the email. I don't know why you would. That would cause you to have to leave here. And simply clicking download is the one and only choice you would want to pick. But for the file type, you have CSV, HTML, and you have tab. So really the CSV and tab are just comma separated or a tab separated. Those would let you open them in Excel. And I'll just do a quick HTML for you. I'm not going to manipulate this. I just want to see a quick list. And what you receive is this download box off on the right of your screen. And so are currently viewing it. You get to see it. And if that's all you need, great, you're done. If you want to download, then the selected format, I picked HTML, you're going to be able to click, it would download, and this is what the HTML looks like. So all my kids were full absences, all unexcused, and I get to know what calendar they were on and their grade level. So that is one of the views. And you have your filters to go back and if you wanted to run it again, but change because maybe it was left on what you selected last, but you really want the spreadsheet this time, then you can go ahead and run it again. And I just click on view, and now the download would be the CSV. So that is your absence list. Next up in our tools, we have student list. So student list, oh, this is good. Maybe if you have a substitute, they have no access to Progress Book, or maybe it's for a field trip and you want to take this student list. Now, again, this is another security area. So if you are not a teacher, you will likely need the easy query box checked. So here is the assignment date. I want to maybe back this up to say these were the kids who were assigned at the beginning of the school year. Don't want to pick such a late date. You can select your teacher. So I'm going to go with Mr. Sparky. He has a class going to a museum today. And he left his computer at home and the bus is loading and we need a quick student list. So it's the world history class. And if I'd like to be more specific, I could select grade levels, ethnicities, and I have two choices. I have a detailed information or a picture list. So if I'm looking at the picture list, I do want to let you know there is not going to be a download for this report. So it's not going to be like that blue box that popped up on our last report, or I shouldn't call it report. Oh, and this is the funniest thing. I had this happen. So you can ignore our demo database. This morning, this worked fine. Yesterday, it did this to me. So I'm having some wonkiness in our test database. But ideally, every student picture would be them, not copies of one student's photo. So oh no, so I'm getting a report in our chat. Same student picture for all students. That's enough for me. I'm going to put the ticket into Frontline and find out what's going on there because it was fine this morning. So I will say student list is pictures all one student. Very peculiar. So I'll get to the bottom of that. But traditionally, every kid is a different picture. I did want to point this out though. If you thought, oh, I'll just do control P and print my screen because there is not a download feature, then pay attention. This has multiple pages. So this said 28 records found, but only 25 fit. Why did only 25 fit? You can go back to your filters. You can look here in these settings that I just ignored because I got excited and hit build. But you can decide your column numbers, how many per page. Now that I know there's 28, I better bump that up so I get all the kids on my screen at once. When I rebuild, there should only be one page. Yep, 28. Yep, they all fit. Go ahead, Diane. What do you got?
I just wanted to let you know I had a student in context that I had looked up. And
Me
once I
too.
cleared that student out, it brings up all my individual student pictures.
Oh, thank
I,
you so
I think it was
much.
because I had that student called up. That's why it put him there.
I bet you have found the that is wonderful. I love learning new things. Not
Yeah,
necessarily when I have a recording that will keep that in time, but that's actually a happy mistake. You're right. I have that particular kiddo in context. Let's do that again. Easy query, our student list. I need to pick Mr. Sparky again and world history. All right, the bus is almost full and he needs this paper of the pictures. And I'm going to bump up because he has 28 kiddos and build list. Oh, look at you, Diane. You are awesome. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
Oh, I can't wait to tell Shelley too, because I asked her why, and this morning she's like, I don't know. But it was a user problem. It was me. Okay, so that's how you fix that. Well done. Now, I know down below you're thinking, but Rebecca, there is a download option, and I could just pick that HTML, and there you go. What's wrong with you? And if I do build that, I get this picture the same, but my download file, I got bad news for you folks. It's just going to be the list. The pictures don't come through the download file, but I am getting the details I do need if I don't care about photos. So there is a second way, not just photos or picture list, because that's exciting, but detailed information. Let me change my teacher here. And there we go. So my teachers, well, I had thought this was going to be math, but we'll go with the one and only class that my teacher has. It could be CSV, HTML, tab delimited, download, and build that. It looks a little different, and you might like the way this looks if you're needing just the list. And now I have that ability to download. And if I view that HTML, again, HTML is stripped out of any pretty things, and CSV tab, those would let you open in Excel. I'm just choosing to not open in Excel so I don't have to flip a lot of windows around. So this is viewable from the screen, easy access, or you have those abilities to get the information through a file if you want to manipulate it more. All right, so let's look in Easy Query Tools for the seating chart. And really, I'm only coming here to tell you, you're not going to use this. Teachers don't build seating charts here inside SIS. They do that in gradebook. So you'd have to use your gradebook access and maybe principal or clerical in case you were trying to pull a actual seating chart up. So that's all I'm really going to say about it, because you're not going to come in here and start building seating charts. You can. If I did click add, oh, this, I should not pick myself. And so if I say go, no seating charts will be there. And now, because this person has a schedule, I could pick one of their classes. It would start building this. If you leave columns and rows empty, they would just default them in for you. And it does have pictures. So I could hit generate if I wanted that. And I am missing something. I know it's supposed to count. Oh, I picked a teacher who had no students scheduled, and that is my fault. So I will pick somebody else. So this is a really bad way to tell you don't come here and don't do any of this, but I still wanted to show you what the functions are. So Miss Glasgow is one who actually has no seating charts in SIS, but she has classes with actual kids. So when I hit generate, there we go. And, it has their photos. You can move them around. And again, you probably aren't going to need it, don't want it, but that's what it does. Easy query. We're going into another tool. And let's look at the view teacher directory. Yes. So I'm going to pick Tommy Brown. This is another area, in case you're curious, to say, hey, our teacher addresses aren't in there. And the reason they are not going to be in here is because they are entered on the personal tab, which is a setup that TCCSA does for our districts. And we don't get that information from you. So again, another area, you know it exists, you know why it's not set up, but Tommy was one in our demo database that did have an address. You have other means of getting your teachers' addresses anyhow, and that's all it does. In Easy Query Tools, we have upcoming birthdays, things that are much more exciting than addresses and seating charts. So I want to be sure I pick my high school here, and your choices, it's self-explanatory. You get a list or you get a calendar. And when you do list, it lets you do a range of dates. And because I'm only doing the birthday list here for the, let's change this. Because that's a weird amount. It's going from 1 week, but Thursday to Thursday. So let's say morning announcements, we do something special on Friday, and we call off the whole week of students, and we know we have two kiddos with birthdays, and we want to announce those. If I select calendar and click submit, then I can see the whole month. It's not going to show me just 1 week. So calendar, it's always a month view. You can arrow to navigate through. I have had actually a case where someone said, hey, my calendar's empty. And I said, mine looks just fine. What's going on? And it turned out to be that darn easy query box on the staff record. She didn't have it checked. She was a curriculum director, so she wasn't getting all the SIS access building secretary would have, but she would come through, and that was basically the symptom of not having that box checked. You'll see that the calendar month view will kind of squeeze closed. I don't have the explanation for why, but you'll see it just kind of compress or expand. And sometimes I think it depends on the size of the name, but I can't say that for sure. So there is your upcoming birthdays. Any questions on Easy Query Tools? We have covered all 6 of those. And what we have next are reports. And Diane, I believe your hand, that was just raised from earlier when you gave me the good tip about.
Yes, it was. I'm sorry. I'll lower.
Okay, that's okay. Thought maybe your arm was getting tired. Okay, last up, easy query reports. And I'm only going to skip around. I know that this was a lot to cover in an hour. We have about 15 minutes. And I'm going to cover 2 of these, and they take some time. A few of them are self-explanatory as well. I'm heading first to student memberships service search. And this is a way really for you to get a report. Maybe it's for your clubs, it's your sports, National Honor Society, Student Council. And if you'll look here in the bank down below, special education, that could include your gifted as well. So I have my high school. Some of this is optional at the top, but I am going to pick this school year. I'm leaving the date range open so it'll pull the entire year. I want all grades, so I leave them to the left. And I look in my membership groups, and I'm after my, let's do interscholastic athletics. So either select an arrow or a double click will get it over there. And I want to point out, no download. So this is one where you're going to view the list and see it on screen, but there is no download button. And when I click view list, what I get here then down below are membership names. So I have a lot of kiddos here in my school for track and field, which is seasonal right now. I've got one kiddo just for basketball hanging around. because I left that date range open for the whole school year. So that's a simple demonstration of the Student Membership Services search. And I'm going to now return back to Easy Query Reports. I'm going to the SIS Student Search. So this is one, if you're coming back for anything in Easy Query, class list or student list, those are two things you're probably going to come back here for. And there's a lot here for us to go through. So let's see what we have to start with. So we have this hide and display our filter options. So those were all my choices down below. And I have this to filter. And assignment date again, I don't know why it keeps defaulting to my end of my school year, but I am going to pick that this is my student list. And you know what? I went to the wrong area. I did not think that looked right. And I wanting SIS Student Search because I jumped into tools by accident. So SIS Student Search under the reports. Thank goodness for the breadcrumb because I caught my mistake and I thought everything looked off. So here we are. To explain this screen, filter criteria is first, and I can make choices down below. The second, I want you to think of this tab, the field selection, as your columns. If you were getting this report, what would be the elements you want in each column, your column headers? And the summary is just going to be what you select it and you get to review in case you want to take a second glance. Now, the middle, I'm going to skip because this is, for the moment, this is the meat and potatoes of building the report. But I'm wanting to point out here at the bottom is that this is similar to, say, an ad hoc report where you can have load settings. But I hate to blend words in that with you. But think of this as a little space where you can save your parameters and selections and use them again. That's why I think of load settings. It's very similar. So here I had one list I made. All I cared about was getting the student ID in the email. Quick, got what I needed. I needed that, maybe for an extract that goes out to another product, a vendor, and it was a textbook. And that's all they asked for is to build the student accounts. So that would be a purpose for something like that. I also made up seniors. Like, okay, I want to pull in a easy way to have my seniors and their addresses. So again, there could be other ways you can do these things, but depending on your access, you might not have access to anywhere else to do this. So I already have these, and if you haven't never saved any, this would be blank down here, but I do have this arrow where I can save if I'm updating, so that's really nice. You can update. Maybe my senior mailings, I forgot to include the zip code, and I came back and changed it. So you can update or save the original. You can hit create. You aren't going to want to click create though until we go through this stuff in the middle. So I know I'm doing things out of order, so that might seem weird. But if this one I'm saying, all right, I've moved on to the next school year, I no longer need 25, 26. I can clean this list and delete old ones. So and you're full in control. So now the meat and potatoes, the middle stuff. Ad hoc. If you made ad hoc memberships, those can be chosen here. So I did happen to have a 25, 26 seniors ad hoc. If you did want to check to see public and private, maybe you have a coworker who actually has a list that you want to use, then you can use it here. So I have a much longer list now. But private are just going to show ad hoc memberships that you have created and saved. So that is one choice where, fine, the ad hoc membership has set what I need. Because watch this, or at least read this. If you have chosen ad hoc, then all other filters will be ignored because you've already set it up, basically. So there's no reason for me to go into the students filter or the enrollment filter because this guy here is telling you, you got it, you can go. So clicking the next button is not going to go through the next tab in the subcategories or subfilters. The next button, like you have seen when you're making ad hocs, it's going to take you through the top tabs. So if I picked the ad hoc and I'm going to say seniors and I say next, then what do I want for those seniors? Do I want their first name, their last name? And as I had built earlier, I did a mailings. So now I need to hand click through to the addresses. And then, all right, their street, their city, their state, and zip. And that's all I would want on this particular report. So I click on next because I'm done with my subfilters and the summary lets me review. And so it has for me first, last, address. We have street, city, state, and zip. I say, that's great. And now I can choose what I want to do. Is this going to be a CSV so I can mail merge this in? Great. Then I can do my mailing labels. What's my download method? As I said earlier, your only choice you really want to pick is download, and then you can click on finish. Now, if I didn't already have this one saved, this would be the point where I would say, now's the time to go ahead and create this. So again, I kind of mixed things. I hope that didn't cause confusion, but I'm going to finish that and the finished results. Oh, and I got 0 students. So I have a mistake in there somehow. And this is the case where somebody left the gates wide open. They didn't pick an ad hoc membership and they got 0. That's the telltale that we know on our end, security. Hey, go in to the staff record, check the box. You guys need to give them easy query access. So uh, let me do a fresh one since that was a failure and not do an ad hoc membership at all. Let's say first time here. I'm going to hand select everything. And what do I want to pick? So you have the ability to do your students, a single student at one. If you have multiples, make sure you separate them by commas, whether it's their student number or their EMIS ID. And we can pick possibly by a homeroom teacher. Maybe it is a locker. I'm looking for who belongs to this locker, that kind of thing. So my students, I'm leaving blank. And by blank, it means everybody. Now, enrollment, if it's all left on the left, great. It's going to pull us all in. But keep in mind, if we're looking at student status, that means it's going to bring in the deleted kids, the kids that are JVS, the kids that are residents attending elsewhere. So if you really don't truly want to cast the net over your entire building, make sure you at least get in there and do your enrollment. I still want early grads. I want maybe my half time because they still come to our building for part of the time. My non-res, my other non-res, maybe my online kids, of course, my residents. And I think I've pulled everybody, and yours are different. Every district has a different list of statuses. So I pull that over to make sure I don't get these kids and start mailing things and they don't need that, if that's what my purpose is. On the address and context tab, you can search a single road, for example. So let's say it was all the kids that transportation needs to get notification out that the road is going to close and we're going to reroute bus traffic. So I could put in an actual road there, but I'm leaving that empty. My EMIS tab, so you can pick specific EMIS situations. So down here, there is my full list of situations. Or example, there is a disability condition you want to pull in, so you can select that. Now, what we're doing is a deep dive into these filters. And if you don't go into detail, you can download as a spreadsheet and then just filter the stuff out whenever you go into Excel. There is the miscellaneous tab, and there's no transportation information in miscellaneous, but a lot of our districts, you guys are using these alert types. And the alert types are really, you guys are using this disability alert to indicate if you guys have documents in same goal. So that would be a nice, maybe, search you're going to build for all my kids who have documents. So that would be the way to use the miscellaneous tab. So I am not including that with mine. And then I am at the end of these sub tabs. I can click on next, which will move me at the field selection tab. So we watch that become active. And now that I have picked who and for what reason, I can just get to decide what's going to be on the report itself. So, first name, last name. I'll stick with my address example um, that I've been using. So, I could do the enrollment where I could do the student status. I want that to be a column to make sure that that earlier filter is working. And then my address, street, city, state, zip, good enough. Um, if this was possibly a student search then for a field trip, I would not do addresses. Maybe I just get primary contact name for emergency reasons, that sort of thing. So you can go through each one. On the EMIS tab, I did want to comment for the FS standing. If we are looking here and we have, I think I got the right one, looking for free and reduced, but maybe I am in the wrong category. You won't see free and reduced if you don't have the security access for it. And I'm not seeing it because I believe I'm in the wrong area altogether. Let's see, because I don't know my EMIS. There it is. It's under FD, bad written note. So FD attributes. If you don't see free and reduced, it's just because you don't have the authority to see that option. So this is set and ready. And what I'd like to do now is review. So I hit my next button and review. This is what I'm going to get. CVS, or I have a habit of saying that CSV, download, great. I'm going to finish that off. And before I click finish, or even now, it should be still safe. I could go ahead and create that and it would include all these settings for me. But I'm having a bad experience today with 0 students again. So I will end here on time, but look into why I am unsuccessful with my search. That did not work that way while I practiced it. Are there any questions from those who are participating? And hopefully you're still with me. And the other reports, if you care, let me go ahead and stop our recording.